Welcome to Wealth Coffee Chats, folks, for your daily live updates. Get the most out of today's episode by participating in the chat. Make sure you ask some questions, be part of the conversation, have a bit of fun, grab a coffee or a tea, take some notes, and get ready to start your day, folks. Quick few housekeeping rules, though. No spamming, no advertising or self-promotion in the chat. That's not on. Be kind and respectful to everyone when participating. And most of all, have a good time. Real estate investing can be your biggest asset. It also can be your most expensive asset when it comes to getting it right or getting it wrong, folks. It can be time-consuming, stressful, and that's why here at Positive, we have what's called a 6-star team, a full-service team that provides integrated wealth and property investing solutions and services simply designed to help you progress towards your goal of passive income through your property portfolio, folks. Make sure you check out our other podcasts on the Positive Mentor Network. Not only is there Wealth Coffee Chats, there's the Urban Property Investor. Drops every Wednesday with straight talking investing strategies and lessons with Sam Saggers. Property Investor Tales. This is where our clients, you guys, share real life stories from property investing, hosted by some of our advisors and strategists. And that's done every fortnight, dropping every Monday. Wealth, Wine and Wisdom, folks, that debriefs the week that was in the world of finance and property, hosted by yours truly, Jason Witten and Andy Fenton on Fridays. Welcome to another Wealth Coffee Chats. Marvellous Monday. Hope you're well, folks, wherever you are. If you think it's Get Rich Quick, you're in the wrong place. This is the wrong podcast. This is the wrong live for you. Welcome to another Wealth Coffee Chat. Hope you're all awesome and well.
All right, good morning, team. Wednesday morning, up and at it. Let's go. Hope you're all well, wherever you are tuning in from today, guys. Listen, we are here for another round of Wealth Coffee Chats, property management, of course. We'll get the cues. Oh, you probably can't see that. There you go. Wealth Coffee Chats, property management. If you're here early, team, give us a bit of a shout out. Let me know who's on today. We've got a bit of another type of tenancy conversation today. Another story, if you like. The last 7 days in my world. Love to share that with you guys again this morning. So good morning to everyone. Good stuff. Now, team, if you are a regular, you're back. Welcome. Thanks for being here. If you haven't seen me before, my name's Cash Shostak, representing the R&W Group Property Management specifically as part of our 6-star team. And of course, happy to be here on a Wednesday morning. Looking forward to this morning's chat. So the chat this morning, team, if you're up for it, right? If you're up for it, quality tenancies versus problematic tenancies, right? And which one do you want? Had a very interesting conversation over the last 7 days with a potential client outside the group, and very interesting story. Done really well, multiple properties, hitting the double digits. But what was interesting was this quality tenancy versus problematic tenancy conversation. And just because you have multiple properties doesn't mean it all goes your way. So we're gonna have a bit of a chat about that, and I might share some insights into that. So good stuff. Bunty is here as always. Thanks, Bunty, and morning to you as well, Luke. Good to have you here, guys. Thanks for joining. We're going to get stuck into it, team. Busy day for myself, hopefully for you as well, wherever you guys are tuning in from, whatever you got on today. So, as I say, quality tenancy versus problematic tenancy. Which one do you want? Do you, as the landlord, as the investor, have a choice? I think you do. That's just my opinion and my 2 cents. I'm going to give you some insight into an investor's mind this morning from a conversation, a meeting I had over the last 7 days. So I have written some notes here, team, because it was quite extensive, but I'm going to try and get through it as best as possible. As always, in the chat, team, any questions, let me know. We'll get through this together over the next sort of 10 or so minutes. Right, so met this owner last week, like I say, multiple properties, hitting 10, 11 plus properties. The commentary and the conversation centered around having quality tenants and quality tenancies in some of his investments, and not so great tenancies in some others, right? And I thought, that's interesting. Tell me more about that. So we had a conversation about that. A lot of the commentary in relation to those not so great tenancies, of course, as you can imagine, vacancy, damages, lack of communication, some of the things around, he actually found some groups and some agencies out there didn't even want to help him to some respect. So Interesting scenario. Right, here's my thoughts. Right, you guys know this. We chat about this all the time here on Wealth Coffee Chats, and specifically, Wednesday mornings for property management around vacancy rates. Right, super low. Days on market is also low, and so properties are turning over and generally leasing in a quick time frame. Right, generally speaking, in a fast market for yourselves and any properties in metro areas. Right, what do we hear? We hear, hey, the demand is really high. What's the actual issue? Vacancy rates are low. How come you can't rent it? Population's growing. There must be tenants everywhere, right? There must be tenants everywhere. My agent tells me there's a line out the door. Really busy Saturday. What's the actual issue? I kid you not, team. I had a call yesterday afternoon. I was driving north of Brisbane to a property late last night, and I had a call from a partner we work with down in Sydney, and he said, hey, listen, I've got a property in Melbourne. My client has a property in Melbourne. It's been vacant for 65 days. I went, interesting. Right, let's have a look at that. Right, there could be a range of different things, right, team, as we know, but we've got to get to the bottom of it, right? We've got to get to the bottom of it. So some of those statements I say about vacancy rates being low and demand is high and population's growing and there's lineups outside doors for tenants, they are, in some respect, very, very true statements, right? You guys might agree. Now, obviously, this varies between where you're at, but generally speaking, it's true, right? In this marketplace, though, what we do find is when the market is really doing really well and vacancy rates are really low, lazy agents can be not as easily identified because the market is doing the heavy lifting for them. Now, ultimately, with this commentary I had from this particular owner around the challenges he was facing with the problematic tenancies, let's say that, was probably three things, right? It came down to process of tenant selection. It came down to a lack of care and communication from the property manager, and the third thing was probably the location of the property. Locations of properties, have different socioeconomic demographics around there, which can influence the type of people potentially that you're attracting to the property, right? So, what makes a quality tenant, as we say? Which tenancy do we want to go down the path of? Quality tenancies or problematic tenancies? Which one do you want? As I say, I believe we have a choice. I believe we can implement some processes and some strategies in here. What makes a quality tenant? So if you guys know, pop it in the chat for me. What makes a quality tenant? Because it's the ability to show a level of affordability, depending on how much the weekly rent is. Obviously, you'd want these people that we meet out in the marketplace to present really well, and tenants can be owners too, team. Right? Don't forget that. Right? Do they have a track record of showing that they can take care and maintain the property whilst they are there for the lease term? Right? And are they solution focused and not just looking to shift the blame on you as the owner all the time? Right? The landlord did this or the landlord hasn't done that, right? Are they solution focused? Are they willing to work with you as the owner and the property manager to resolve matters when they come up over a period of time? And of course, communication. Here's a story from the weekend. We had an open home. We had a few people through. We received some applications. On Monday morning, we processed that and we said, we presented that to the owner. The owner approved the application. We turned around and said, fantastic. That time frame happened really quickly. Now it's Wednesday morning, right? 8:10, 9 for most of us. And we can't get a hold of the tenants who have applied for the property. Now it's been half a week since they saw the property, 48 hours since we approved the property. What do you think, team? What's the chances of them actually moving forward with this property? It's probably little to no chance, I would say, right? Little to no chance. Sharon's jumped in here. Paying rent on time, keep the property clean and undamaged, don't disturb neighbours, good tenant to me. Me too, Sharon, I agree. Right? And so this applicant on Monday, when we processed and we're going through this selection process with a level of care, was showing all the great things, right? A level of affordability, good track record of maintaining, the properties that they have been renting through over the last few years. They presented well, everything looked good. Right now, it's come down to the crunch, and the communication is really poor. Now, they might call me back today, they might not. But, from my perspective, that might be a bit of a red flag. If they cannot communicate with me now to even secure the home, what's that communication going to look like over the next 6, 12, 18 months when they are actually in the property. What's that communication going to look like when it comes to reporting maintenance and repair? What's the communication going to be like from the tenants when it comes to, gaining access for routine inspections that we do every 3 to 6 months, depending on where you are? What is that going to be like, team? What's the chances they're going to be solution focused, right? Or are they just going to ignore and shift blame, right? And this is some of the intuition things that your property manager should have, that you guys should have as an owner as well, asking these sorts of questions and getting a feel for the person, and not so much all the time reliance on the application, right? It's a combination of the two. So this was the conversation I went through with this particular owner, multiple properties. Like I say, really interesting conversation, difference of opinions and views and strategies. But again, it comes down to, do we want quality tenancies or not so quality tenancies, right? So, what I'm finding at the moment, and again, it's just my perspective, this is what I see on the ground. I've been doing some leasing opens on a Saturday, getting out there, meeting some people, is that I'm finding that you are getting a lot of people inquiring and you are meeting a lot of people, but the level of a quality tenant perhaps is a little bit lower, potentially, right? This is just in my marketplace right now in Brisbane specifically, but I know some property management groups in around the country that are experiencing the same. Quality tenants may not be in their droves looking at open homes right now. Why might that be the case? Well, one of the reasons why is that they might be staying put wherever they are right now, right? They want security, they want stability, and therefore they're not interested in having a look at properties. So quality tenants will stay put. Why do they stay put? Well, could be a bit of fear of unknown, right? It's a risk, maybe meeting a new property manager who's gone from responsive to not responsive, right? They might meet a new owner who, the relationship might break down there as well. So what we find, team, is, the really good tenants out there are not moving, are not looking to move unless there's a specific reason, right? Is the property going on the market for sale? Is that owner moving in? Then, of course, they're sort of forced into a position to move. But otherwise, team, I don't think they're moving, right? I don't think they're moving. And so if we've got a property that's on the market right now and we might understand or might have this opinion that there's a little bit of not as many people in that particular criteria, right? If we're going to call it that, then what are we going to do to ensure that we're attracting these quality tenants? What the way we market the property, the way we present, our dialogue, our open homes, our communication, right? All these things come together. I'm a big believer, team, 13 years in the industry doing this, and still to this day out at open homes, I'm a big believer, whether you have a quality tenancy or a problematic one, it all comes back to that first open home and that first interaction and the standard that is set ultimately by your property manager, right? Because they're the ones at the property doing the work on your behalf, more often than not. But it comes down to that tenant selection process, team, and how those open homes are presented. So really interesting scenario, because after this chat I had with this potential client, after this hour chat, my understanding is that, I don't think anything's going to change. I think the problems that they have comes down to those three things that I mentioned, right? Process of selection, lack of care, or education from the property manager side of things, and maybe even the owner. But location of property obviously can influence different results for you. So with today's scenario, hey, if you want different results, the question is, team, what are you going to do about it, right? What are you going to do about it? So, Luke's jumping in here saying, I've got 2 empty houses at the moment. No one's applying at all. Okay, interesting. So Luke and I need to have a chat, right? We're going to solve this problem, team, because if we don't come up with a strategy or look to make a change in some way, shape or form, then we're going to get the same results. So everyone agree? So, that's my message this morning, team, is, look, whether you want a quality tenancy or a problematic tenancy, I do believe you can implement some frameworks, some strategies to certainly influence what that outcome might look like, right? Ultimately, it comes down to what you guys want and then what you're willing to do about it to make it happen or get it on the right path. So that's it from me, team. Hope that was helpful. If it's not, you guys will let me know anyway. But as always, team, any questions in the chat, just always email that through. Any topics, of course, always looking for some topics, some stories. I'll always come and share some stories and conversations I have throughout the week, but always looking for your feedback as well, team. So listen, that's me, done and dusted. Wednesday, Wealth Coffee Chats over in our team. You guys have a good day. I will see you next week, but don't forget, Wealth Coffee Chats, 8:10, 9 local time, whatever that is for you. Back on tomorrow, team. So I'll see you guys then. All right. Thanks, Dave.
Episode of Wealth Coffee Chat, folks. Make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on your notifications so you never miss a thing when we go live. Improve your portfolio and investing game, folks, with Wealth Coffee Chats live every morning at 8:10 each weekday. Make sure you join us. Previous episodes are also available wherever you get your podcasts, folks, as well as our other podcasts from the 6-Star team here at positivementor.com.au.